Order one is done and life is good. Good to see everybody. My name is Tim. I'm a full-time eBay seller out of Northwest Montana. I do about 200,000 plus in sales per year as a one-man show, getting my inventory mostly from garage sales, estate sales, thrift stores, you name it. I am buying and selling. And on this channel, I live pack my orders so that you can see exactly what I do, exactly what I'm selling. So maybe you can go find some of the same things yourself and make a little bit of money. So we're going to get going right away here with our Disneyland pack. We've got 13 orders for about 600 bucks today. No, 12 orders for about 600 bucks. That's about standard. That's about average of what I usually am shipping out per day, is about 12 orders a day. So yeah, we'll grab this guy and get going. This guy was a bins find. Actually, someone tossed this one to me. It was there's a lot of parents that go to my bins that are buying for their kids, and she had grabbed these for she grabbed this one for her kids just because it's a cool kids book. You know, it looks like a nice kids book, but it's honestly it's this nice from the 60s book about the old pirate ride at the Disneyland. And what's actually I thought was actually kind of fun about it, it's signed by Captain Hook. It is signed by Captain Hook. So, oh goodness, my camera is autofocusing today. Let me fix that. I think that's annoying when I watch that. I'm gonna just try to set it to one property. I was doing a different video last night and it must have changed my settings. But yes, there we go. Signed by Captain Hook right there. And it's pretty fantastic. That probably what the character person ended up doing that. I also got to pull my chat out here. If you are in the stream, please say something. Please shout it out so I can know you're here. It's great to have interaction with people as I'm doing these orders. So I'm not just talking into the void, even though I am very good at talking into the void. Let's go ahead and get this guy packed up. So I'm going to put it in a box because it's a little bit more special than just sliding into a padded for this one. I think I'm out of my 12 by 10 by 4s. I might need to grab another one. These ones I do not want to put just in a mailer that could get folded because this is a collectible book. If this was just a, you know, whatever book that someone's using for information, and even if it was 40 bucks, like I'm still just sliding that into either a cardboard mailer or into a bubble mailer. But because this guy, someone's going to care about the condition, they don't want a big old crease on the page, you know, I'm going to throw it in a box. But hopefully your quarter one was also nice. Hopefully eBay sales are not too slow for you. For me, I'm pretty consistent with my listing, and I think that I am getting rewarded for it. Working my butt off to make sure that I'm getting items up every single day, listing an average of about 12 a day, although I think I'm at 11.2. I checked last night, like how many items have I got up this month? 11.2 average every single day. Where I try to hit 12 is kind of my baseline of where I like to be, but things are still going all right. Doing better than I've ever done in any month in my career. Actually checked it against I had a crazy month a couple years ago, and this March has been my best ever. So it's been really, really nice. I've had some decent sales, and hopefully I can show you a few things maybe you can pick up too. Oh. All right. Added a little bubble in there for a moisture barrier, just in case. This is a nice book. And 2 pounds. Uh-oh. Asked for ground saver? Oh no, media mail's just having trouble with this because I think it's in the collectible category. So it won't go media mail. They paid, I hate this about, their shipping system is broken because you can list it as media, but then it'll tell you can't do media. So I have two options. I either take like 5-10 minutes here to like get over to Pirate Ship, figure that out again, save a couple bucks on a label, or just send it Ground Advantage. We're just gonna send it Ground Advantage. Pretend we took an offer for 37. That's fine. Get this guy out of here. Yeah, that is obnoxious. That happens to me time and time again where maybe it's in a category that doesn't think there's allowed to be media mail because it's not books or antiquarian books, but yet you're allowed to send it media mail because it is a book. This could totally go media mail and it would just be fine. Not like I'm trying to skirt around the rules doing video games or something. Speaking of video games, you do have another one going out. This is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I played this one growing up. I was always the Pink Ranger. No judgment. Pink Ranger was cool. She was everyone's crush back in the day. So she was my Ranger. Or the Black Ranger. I'd also be him. And the Green Ranger, is he in this one? I forget. I remember playing him. Maybe it was a different one I played. Anyway, Pink Ranger's the best. Let's get this one going. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. They are still around today. Kids don't mind watching that stuff. Although, it has changed a bit. We like watching the old ones. Like watching the ones from when I was growing up. The kids had a kick for that for the longest time. Every day we'd turn on the TV, it was always Power Rangers. We've kind of moved on. All right, just gonna bubble that up, throw it in a padded bubble mailer, and send it on its way. Yeah, this quarter was actually good enough that, about a week ago I was listing my items, and I realized I was getting insertion fees. I finally hit, I'm about 1,400 items in my store. So the basic store subscription is finally starting to pile up those insertion fees. I started doing the math and I said, you know what, just forget it. I'm growing my store. Things are getting bigger anyway. I went ahead and got the next level store. So now we are on, was it the premium, the $60 level, 8x8x3. And so I could avoid those insertion fees because those are just annoying. And I get a bigger coupon to use for those shipping supplies. First I was confused. I'm like, did something change? Yeah, something did change. My store is going well enough. Things are good. Hopefully I can keep the momentum going into quarter two, you know. This next month is the busiest time for my family. It's my wife, no, the next 2 months actually. So it'll ramp up here because my wife is a teacher. And so this awkward season where like I'm having to be gone every weekend and she is like ramping up the end of the school year and things get crazy. Like every event ever happens at the end of a school year. Parents know that too. So she'll be having to run around to everything and I'm going to have to be running around everywhere working 55+ hour weeks, but we'll get it done. This is the Timbuktu messenger bag. Timbuktu messenger bag. This guy I picked up at the bins. It just felt like a good bag. I guess it's a less known brand, but I didn't know it. Got $30 for it. Took 3 months here to sell, but we're happy with that. Let's go get this guy packed up. Got a couple bags today. I think that the pickleball bag sold. That was a good one to show later. I wanted this in a box, but I don't want to. Maybe a 16-inch box. This guy fitting you? I don't want to roll it either. I'll throw it in this guy. That's fine. One of my bigger ones. I found this at the bins. I'll look up the bags when they feel like they're nice quality or they have some more of an obscure brand. I don't mess with a lot of purses. A lot of people do. It's got to be like an obvious purse that like, oh, this is a Gucci, this is a Louis Vuitton. You know, it's got to be like that. And for the most part, I can tell if they're fake, but we don't get a ton of fakes up here. I have found fake Gucci, though. I found fake Gucci here a couple times. I don't think I've ever found fake Louis, though I don't know if I've ever found real Louis. All right, we're just going to throw that in with some crush. Don't need to bubble or anything in that one. Honestly, probably doesn't even need a box, but I need to start stocking, I think, some bigger polys, because I think that could just go in a poly just fine. My biggest polys are for small jacket. Doesn't quite fit that bag. Whoops. All right. If you have, for whatever reason, wandered into this stream, we live pack orders on this stream just so you can see exactly what's going on with my store. So maybe you can find some of the same things. I love it when people say hi in chat just so I know that I'm not alone. Had a few regulars hopping in, and it's always fun to talk to people. So let's get this guy going. 2014 6, 5 pounds. Saved a buck or two on shipping. I'm heading out. The zipper's wiggling around in there. But going into quarter 2, nothing really is changing for me. I plan to keep going with the 12 items a day. I plan to keep going to garage sales, estate sales, thrift stores, bins, like my life depends on it, picking up everything I can. My philosophy has always been that I will not miss a garage sale or an estate sale. Here, I forgot you take attendance. I do take attendance sometimes, Pricer. It's just good to know you're here. Because I'm a lazy man that, well, I don't know how to check the analytics of like who's watching. Maybe it's in the chat, participants. So like it says participants. I don't know if it's just you and me, but maybe that's just who's chatted so far. But good to see you, Pricers. Good to have you back. Thanks for hopping in here today. Let's see. We got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. Let's grab that. Yes, my philosophy for garage sales and estate sales has always been I will not miss one unless it's one of 3 things. And those 3 things are life, death, or weddings. So either someone's got to be getting born, someone's got to be dying, or someone's got to be getting married. Those are about the 3 things that will let me miss a garage or estate sale. And using that metric has been really well for me. So just by doing that, just by being everywhere, knowing everybody, I've fostered some really good relationships around here. That, you know, people know who I am, they know what I buy, and I've had things tossed my way, just like that book, you know, just like being at the bins. A gal knows that I buy and sell books. She's like, hey, that one might be good for you. She tossed it to me, the Pirates book, and there, I made 30 bucks just from knowing someone, from them knowing what I do. You know, there's something to be said about being the sneaky reseller that, you know, doesn't want to advertise what they do. They don't want anybody to know. They feel dirty. They walk in and they're like, oh no, everyone's judging me. That's not how it is. You let people know what you do. You're a good person. Deals will come your way. Right. There's one thing I wanted to double check on my shelf. I don't think I have 2 copies of this, but I wanted to double check because I saw some other black cartridges. Nope, that's Turok. Okay. Making sure I didn't have to double check the label. And we're at 10 ounces. And 9 by 6 by 3. Would you pass a yard sale on your way to a yard sale? I try never to do that. Correct. I will never pass a yard sale. The only reason I'd pass it is if like I know the yard sale I'm going to is killer and I need to get there before everybody else. But the pop-ups are the best. And I don't know if that's been your experience too, the Pricers, but for me, whenever you're, because what I'll do is I'll map everything the night before. I actually go in to every social platform. I go into our local paper. I go into Craigslist. I go into everything, and I'll map them all out. And so if something's not on my map and it pops up, like that shows that 9 out of 10 times, unless like the Facebook algorithm was hiding one from me, which it does, then I know it's a pop-up and not a lot of people are there, and those are usually really good. All right, Ikaruga. This did not have a manual, but it's a rare GameCube game. GameCube's always good. We are no longer listing any more video games. These are all from that big listing spree we had a couple weeks ago. Last week, we ended those. These will slowly start dying down. We move into random everything seller season. Where are you, Iker? There we are. All right, we are just going to throw this one in a poly, usually that $30 mark. I want more, but I don't think this guy's collecting it for the case. The case is pretty gross anyway. So I'm going to do a bigger poly. I forgot these GameCube ones are a little bit fuller. Yeah, I try to be everywhere and know everybody in my area. And whenever someone doesn't know me, it's a little surprising. I'm always surprised. It's usually like a different niche. It's usually a different type of seller. Like if someone doesn't know me, it's sometimes the booth sellers, because they just play a different game than what I do. But if I'm at a garage sale or an estate sale, like I will know everybody there. Or I try to make it a point that I know everybody there, because the relationships is really what gets things going for you. Even if they're not going to supply you, just they'll know, you know, they can toss you deals here and there. They can give you information. And people are great. Like, well, some people are terrible, but it's great to know people. Great to be a good person. All right, that guy's done. Where are we at? On to some more shoes. Shimano's. These guys have been listed for a month, it looks like. I thought, oh, these were from a different buy. One time I bought out like 40 pairs of cycling shoes. It was kind of a terrible buy because they weren't the model I thought they were. But this one's a good model. This one I got, I believe, was a bins pickup for 30 bucks here. Got some Shimano cycling shoes. Let's find these. I'm hoping to see some action on those other cycling shoes I got. If not this summer, they're going to probably just get tossed at the end of the summer because they're not as good as I thought they were. Are you Shimano? Wrong one. Let me check that label again. 212. Sometimes my inventory system gets a little off if I relist something and forget to put a new SKU, but then I can always check the date. You should be here. I must just be blind. Nope. Go row by row in here. I haven't lost something in quite a while, though. I've always mailed packages out. I've never not mailed a package out. On versus. Well, this stinks. What's going on here? We're going to check some adjacent bins. All right, one more look, and then I might just skip it and find it later. I know it's there. I just think these might have got relisted. 212. Let's see what the back of these things. And we're looking like that. One more shot, and then we'll just look later. I'm guessing this was a relisted one that I'm going to have to go dig up the old information. Oh, wait. Aha! They were in an adjacent shelf. There they are. Got our Shimano's. My date-based inventory has never failed me. Even on frustrating situations like that, they always turn up. I've only ever not I've never not found something. Every time I'm looking for stuff, I've always found it. I've never lost inventory. I've never had to go out of stock for losing something. I did have to go out of stock once on a book. I miscounted. So I did a bulk listing of a bunch of Bibles hymnals, excuse me, that I got from a church sale. They were getting rid of all of their old hymnals. And so I bought all 80 of them or something. And I put the quantity in, I think it's 81. And there was only 80. And so when the last one sold, I was out of quantity on that. And I don't know, you can try to play the game of saying, hey, I don't have this. Would you like to cancel the order? And then you can go buy or ask to cancel the order. That's not technically what you're supposed to do. That's not technically how the game works, but you might get dinged for that. A lot of people do it that way. I think I just took the out of stock on that guy. Took a defect. That's one of the worst defects you can get, though, so try not to send things out of stock. All right. This guy. I am not happy with how these are chunking together in my... Let's just do this. We're going to just throw it in this box. I'm not happy with how those are fitting together. I'm just going to throw it in here. I don't want them to get gummed up shoes because they didn't fit quite right. All right, 14 by 10 by 6. And 4. We have a question of what software do you use for inventory? And they say, Pricer says, I use Flipwise. What I use is just eBay. I actually do not use software for inventory. I move stuff quick enough, I suppose. I don't know, like, I have 1,400 items listed, but I know where they all are, and they're all date-based on the SKUs. So for me, not as good as Tim's. What's up, Dallin Azeri? My software that I use is just my brain. I don't use anything. I just use eBay's SKU system. And it's all date-based, so I will go... like I got one, I wish I had I need to get my other camera going so I can show you what this whole place looks like. But I've got a couple shelves for shoes and boots, and so that's one SKU system. I have another shelf for all my books, which is another SKU system. And then I have just my random, which is another SKU system. I have my hanging and my totes, which is another system. And then when I say another system, all the system is like the SKU says shoes, then the date, then a number. So it's like this was in the shoes category listed on this date. And this is the number of the listing. Oh, your Q1 was not as good as Tim's. So well, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope it gets better. What do you sell there? What do you sell there, Dallin Azeri? Dolan? Is it Dolan? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what I should call you. Dolan. I'm going to call you Dolan for now. What was your Q1 like? What do you sell? All right, we got some pens going out. These are Cross Classic Black matte pens. I overpaid for these. I thought the comps were more like in the $40, $50 range when I looked them up in the field. So I did pay $10. So I'm not gaining a ton. This is going to be a very small pickup. Oh wait, what was the Q on this? I have 2 of these, but it was out in a state where I bought a lot of stuff. We're not losing money, but we are not making as much as, like, I wouldn't pay 10 to sell it for 20, usually. Oops. That was not the sound of pens falling out of its case and dropping on the floor. Despite what you might think, I'm definitely not putting these pens back into the case. Oh gosh. Yeah, they're fine. They're fine. It's good. It's good. Yeah, they look good. They're going out. All right. No, I normally would not pay 10 to sell for $21.95, because then after your shipping, after your fees, after your time and labor, like you're making what, $5 maybe. It just isn't the kind of flip I want. But when you're moving fast at an estate sale, you're making these decisions. Sometimes things like this get into the cart, and at least we're not losing money. That's where we don't want to be. We don't want to be losing money paying 10 and not selling it, or selling it for 5. My Q1, too many clothes. You're a clothes seller, huh? I'm an opportunistic clothes seller. So I will sell them only if it's easy and low-hanging fruit. Like I don't do a lot of clothes. I do a lot of shoes. I do a lot of shoes and boots. As far as the clothing, that's not for me. I actually have a source that actually dropped some clothes off with him yesterday. I'll actually buy for somebody else when I don't want to deal with it. And I'll sell them his way, just because I happen to be everywhere and know everybody, which is also a good way to know everybody. Like, I'm very happy to just take a couple bucks on some clothes, not have to deal with them, especially when I've got so much inventory right now. But we find a lot of the Carhartt up here, a lot of the Carhartt jackets, the Patagonia, the North Face, the mountain khakis, the this, that, and the other. This was a nice little pickup. We got some Scott's postage stamp catalogs. These are pretty good. Got 2 volumes 3A and 3B, heading out here today for $60. Scott's catalogs, when they're newer, are pretty good. I think once they're dated, they stop doing as well. These would have sold for more on Amazon, but one did have some water damage on the corner. And once they have water damage or anything like that from Amazon, I don't like sending them to Amazon because it's a return waiting to happen. On eBay, you can better catalog that for people to see. Let's put these in at least a moisture barrier. So I think I would have got like a 80, 90 maybe after all the Amazon fees if I sent them their way. But with that moisture damage, it probably wouldn't have flown. Oh, look at these. For the stamp collectors, these are like the gold standard. This is how they tell what's what and what it's worth and all that kind of stuff. Been around for years on the Scotts. All right, get that going. All right, 12 by 10 by 4. Well, Dolan and Pricers have thrown some stuff in chat. If you are here also, and 8 pounds, 12 by 10 by 4. If you're here also and have wandered in, please throw something in the chat so I know you're here. It's just great to know who's here, who's hanging out. And if you're catching the replay, throw me a comment. I'd love to know what you're selling, what you're doing in your store. I would watch similar videos of listing items, lots of packing people on YouTube, not a lot of listing ones. Fair enough. The listing process probably is, we could see about that. I could see one doing photos and talking about the items. Listing, though, has gotten easier with AI. The listing is more of a brain drain than the packing is. But I think that this format works really well because I can actually interact and I can actually talk about what I'm doing as I do it. Because it's such a monotonous task once you've packed 1,000 items. But listing, on the other hand, you're looking up model numbers, you're trying to get the pricing right, you're doing this, that, the other. And I think it would actually slow down my system a little bit too much. Though the photos, I could see a similar photo type of a video. I'll think about that. Right now, my commitment is to continue doing these for the time being. I think I have 20 more that I've committed to do. And then I'm going to maybe I might pivot. I might continue doing the same. It's been fun. And obviously we have a few people that are enjoying it. So Dead or Alive 4, just another game here going out. Dead or Alive 4. Yeah, the Dead or Alives are good. They're fighting games. And then the Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball. Yes, that one actually does pretty good too. So those are what I'm looking out for. The original Xbox has a few of those. Simple bubble mailer today on a simple $12 game. 9x8x1 and 6 ounces. I've also found that my Monday packs are now marathons because I got 30, 40 orders going out. And I'm not sure I can continue the marathon. So I might pivot and start doing like a Sunday night one. Although Sundays are family days. A little different. It's a different mindset when you've got all these orders to pack. Like before I would just, pack an order here or there. And so now I'm doing other areas of my business. I'm like listing, cleaning items, sourcing, doing whatever in my random little times. I'm kind of saving all my packs for this. But we'll see. We'll see where this channel goes. The Pastoral Sick Care of the Sick. I believe this was a Ben's pickup. This one, not all religious books can be good, but every once in a while there's ones, that people are going to use regularly, or they're ones that are dated and people want to pick up because they maybe don't make them anymore. This one, I believe, is still used. So we got February 11th. It's been listed about a month. Let's go find it. And what does the spine look like? There we are. Throw this in a bubble mailer. I do get excited for new quarters. I get excited for new months because I do accounting line by line and kind of it's almost like a game to me. That's why you see I got that scrolling total because like, all right, what's the scoreboard today? Because I like seeing that go up. I like seeing what I can push myself to do in any given month. And so I like a clean slate to kind of refresh things and hit it hard for the next month. So I'm excited to see what Q2 does. And if I can get the rest of my quarters as quarter one, then I am doing better in my eBay life than I've ever done before. And I hope that you can do the same. 10, 11, 2, and 2. But it's going to take work. All right, a buyer just sent me, okay, this is from the pricers in chat. A buyer just sent me messages being interested in multiple items. Asked if I could combine and discount. How would you handle this? I just made a new listing with the 3 items for them. Seems like there should be an easier way. I agree there should be an easier way, but that is really the best, safest way to do it. Because they're asking if you could combine and discount. So eBay does not have a great bundling system. And I think the way you did it is the safest, correct, proper way to do it. If you don't want to run into any trouble. But it is also the most laborsome way to do it. If they're lower dollar items, for me, I would actually take them and sometimes say, hey, just send offers on what you would like to pay for each item with the shipping, and we'll see what we can do. Now that's dangerous because then what ends up happening is that they return one of them, they've got a steep discount on the other ones and the one that they've sent the offer for. And the same if you're kicking back shipping, it gets kind of iffy if they're going to just return one, but they don't return the other ones, then you might be losing out on shipping. But that would be like a quicker, easier way if you're a little more risk tolerant for that. But that is exactly how I would do it on eBay. If it was items like I cared a little bit more about and I was a little worried, then yes, I'm definitely delisting them, making a new listing. But of course, that's risky too, because then you've taken all this time, you've done this stuff to your store, and then they could say, oh, well, never mind, I don't want it. Glad I came to class today, thanks. Well, hopefully you pick something up. You're doing everything right, in my opinion. And I don't claim to be, okay, this is 2.6 box 1. While yes, I'm doing okay on eBay, there's people that do so much better than me, so much more than me, and know so much more than me. And I hope that I can pick up stuff from them too, if they want to ever hang out. But I don't claim to be any kind of guru. that knows everything about this game, but I do know a lot about this game, and I'm willing to share and willing to help however I can, because I've had a lot of people help me as I've gotten to where I'm at. So, because honestly, you get to a couple $100,000, and I don't want anybody to take this, you know, or I don't want this to come across braggadocious or anything. You see, then you're looking at the people that are like, oh, well, you're at $500,000. And then you're like, oh, well, you're at $1 million. Oh, you're doing 10 million in sales. Like, oh, you're dropping 100 million. Like, there's people out there that play this eBay game that are doing these crazy numbers. And we're all, you know, nothing changes. Nothing changes from what I'm doing to what they're doing to what you're doing. Like, the rules are all the same. The game is all the same. But I will never claim to be any kind of guru, expert that knows everything. But after a few thousand packages, you kind of know what's going on with eBay. I do save photos, so I just clicked sold similar on one item and then added the photos. Yes, that's a good strategy too. I could see how that would be helpful. You don't have to pull everything and re-photo it. Good idea. All right, these never show good on my stream, but again, I do a lot of Hallmark from a liquidation contact I have. And so very small sales, but they're quick and easy and head out the door. We'll pull this one up next. This is a pickleball paddle and bag. The worst, not the worst, one of the worst estates I've ever been to. It was pretty rough. I had to drive 30 minutes out of town for this estate. And man, I thought there was a chance of gold at this place. And this is the only item I picked up. Everything was overpriced. Everything was not the kind of stuff that I would normally buy. The people were realtors, I think, that just didn't usually run estates. And they said I could dig in the garage. They're like, oh yeah, everything's for sale. I dig in the garage. I find this awesome tote of Michael Jordan stuff. It's got like Michael Jordan Sports Illustrated and stuff that are old, some of the old comics that he was in and stuff like that. And I don't know if it's like crazy money. I don't know enough about that. And plus, there was no internet access at this estate. It was way out of town. Like we have dead zones here in Montana. And I bring it up to the front. And they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. I thought they had removed all their personal items. This is a personal one. We can't sell this. This is personal stuff. Oh gosh, I just spent all that time digging, and now you're gonna tell me we can't? Yeah. So I was bitter, but I did find this bag, and I was able to get it for $10. So $10 for the pickleball bag with the paddle in it. CRBN Carbon, I guess, is the brand. I'm gonna just throw this in a box with some bubble. So we still made some money, but definitely not the money that I'd like to make if I'm driving an hour round trip. And this is the only item I picked up at the sale. But if you don't go, you don't know. And I would still make the same decision 1,000 times over to go, but sometimes they're not all winners. But a nice $90 consolation prize isn't bad. Probably make $60 on this sale. And it fits beautifully in my biggest shoebox. I guess pickleball is in. There we go. I heard my children outside. I got to get them off to school here soon too. Ugh. Well, I should finish my packing before that. That's the goal. I usually like to have my packing done before I get them out the door. All right, we got 5 pounds, 20 by 14 by 6. Oops, I calculated the poundage a little low, but that'll be fine. Lost $1 on the shipping. they doing out there? Oh, no, my dog's just playing with her ball. She's got, I don't know if you have dogs, there's like these eggs that are like hard for dogs to grasp. She's running around with that thing, running into my shop. I love it. All right. We are up to the last item here. Hopefully you've enjoyed your time and are able to pick up a few things of your own. Anybody on that replay, throw me a comment, would be awesome. Let's get this double H boot. Almost done with our time here together. And the kids are off to school. Size 8 women's, double H. These might have come out of my storage unit from the summer, or they might be a bins pickup. I've been finding a lot of boots at the bins, and it's kind of hit or miss. It really depends on who's sorting that day, honestly. 310, 22. And bins can be crazy. Like, at least for the ones around me, it's like you'll go dry spells with nothing, and then all of a sudden, like, it just drops in your lap. But you got to be there for the days that happens. Because it's easy to miss. You miss that one day, you could be out for like a whole week's worth of what's going to come through there. You're my double H. Yes, you're my double H. I can't quite reach him, though. Let's see. We'll go ahead and throw these in a bag. Will fit my biggest bag, I think. The Ice Buckaroo size 8. The Ice Buckaroo size 8. They fit together just like that. Throw a little more crush in there. A little more crush in this one. But I guess that's the same with garage sales too. I mean, like, maybe that's why this is such an addicting game, because it's basically like we're gamblers going sale to sale to sale, getting nothing, and then all of a sudden they throw a jackpot our way and we're right back on the trail. Because you can go with huge dry spells, and then all it takes is one sale, one connection, one estate, one day at the bins where they decide to just drop everything in your lap. Because maybe their main sorter was out sick, maybe they got a huge influx from some estate they cleaned out, or got, you know, a big donation coming through that they couldn't handle, and all of a sudden you got more than you know what to do with. So that's the moral of the story, is keep on keeping on, because you never know when the big deals are going to hit. All right. If I stay too much longer, my kids are going to come in here and say, "Dad, it's time to go." They know I'm live streaming, though. I told them I'm doing one of my meetings, but this one I can't turn off. I guess it's the best way I could tell them. So if you come in, the hunt is definitely part of the fun. Yeah, 100% part of the fun. I came for the hunt. I stayed for the money. I guess a good way to put it. Because it's not, you know, the highs are always still there. They only get bigger and bigger. You're always looking for the next big hit. But sometimes just selling $30 boots, making a living. Not selling $500 huge score. 4 pounds. And 15 by 12 by 6. I'm assuming I'm going to have a slower day of sales tomorrow, just because I think I'm going to be doing a lot of Amazon work today as the quarter wraps up. I also sell on Amazon. I'll send FBA books in for them. But I still will do a packing session tomorrow. Even if it's one item, I'll still turn this camera on. So I will be here. If you've made it this far, please, 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 if you could throw a like, a subscribe, it is 100% free. It's the thing that you can do to push this content for other people and also push it for yourself. If you like this kind of stuff, if you like these types of channels, then YouTube algorithm will figure that out when you do that like or subscribe. Would super help me and help you as you're trying to find more people to listen to. Throw me a comment, throw me a chat. It's great to know I'm not alone. I will be back here tomorrow doing the same thing. Have a beautiful day, everybody. And thanks, Pricers and Dallin, for coming in to chat today.